Hello everyone, let's continue on from the previous video. Form 4, Chapter 2, Nasionalisme. Ia merupakan satu gerakan untuk mendapatkan perubahan. One thing that I forgot to mention is that if you want reform, kalau kamu nak mahukan reformasi dan perubahan, you cannot do it alone. Kamu perlukan sokongan orang ramai. You need popular support. So one of the most interesting parts of this chapter for me is how all these tokoh nasionalis lah, right? How they managed to get that support from people, alright, who might be of different races, different religion, different cultures lah. Okay, so we'll start with India. Alright, we'll start with India, which is a very good example. It's a country that it's huge lah right now. But back then, before the World War II, they are actually a collection of small kingdoms. Alright, dia macam kerajaan-kerajaan kecil, and the British became friends with all these kingdoms, and that's how they managed to control the area lah. So India is made out of many races, many religions, and of course the majority will be Hindu. Alright, but then you also have the Sikh. Alright, you have the Muslims, you have Buddhists, the Jains. So many different religions, different cultures and all that. It's a huge area lah. So how did they manage to work together to dapatkan kemerdekaan against the British? And the answer is that they don't like the British.
Wow.
Penentangan pertama yang berlaku, alright, is called Dahagi 1857. So Dahagi maksudnya mutiny, alright, memberontak against your higher ups. This is done by the Sepoy. Sepoy are basically Indian soldiers but paid by the British. So they are paid by the British to fight the wars. So if the British is like, dia berperang kat sini, dia akan hantar Sepoy ni pergi ke sana. So pemberontakan ni berlaku, and it has been a subject of like documentaries and movies lah. So if you guys are interested in this, you can go watch it yourself, or you can try to read out about it. I talked about this in class anyway. And then we have Pertubuhan Sosio Agama, and then we have Parti Politik, INC, Indian National Congress, and Liga Muslim. After the World War I, kita ada dasar tidak bekerjasama. Alright, you do not cooperate with the British, and you have Mahatma Gandhi in this role. So Mahatma Gandhi tidak bekerjasama dengan British. How it goes is that they will do non-violent protest lah. Berpegang kepada what we call satyagraha. Satyagraha means berpegang kepada kebenaran. Alright, you are fighting for the truth and in a very non-violent manner. Contohnya macam mogok lapar. So the idea here is that basically work together and chase out the British. No matter your race or whatever, just let's get them out first, which is what happened. After World War II, the British had financial problems because of the World War. Jadi they couldn't afford to hold on to India much longer, so they decide, let's unite this all as one country. Tapi Liga Muslim kata we should have a Muslim majority country of our own, because there are some areas in India which has Muslim majority. So eventually a partitioning happened lah, persempadanan, right? We make a new country basically called Pakistan. So Pakistan sebenarnya at the moment when they were born, I guess, there are actually two of them, one in the east, one in the west. So the West Pakistan is still Pakistan right now, but the East Pakistan eventually became Bangladesh. So anyway, this is the part where it stops at your buku teks lah. But I can tell you guys, there are so much more happening, because actually persempadanan ni berlaku dengan terlalu I guess it's a rush job. Alright, so I won't say much more than that lah. I've covered some of this in class already. So next up is Mesir dan Turki Uthmaniyah, the Ottoman Empire, where the main opponent here, alright, the uniter here, would be fighting against British imperialism. I already talked to you last week about imperialism, what it means lah. So at that time, the British was like very powerful lah. They did what they did over at Southeast Asia kat sana juga, and there's also Perancis, France, which controlled Northern Africa, right? Egypt, Tunisia, and all that, Algeria. Jadi di sana lah, right, kita ada satu tokoh nama dia Syed Jamal Al-Din Al-Afghani, and also Syed Muhammad Abduh and Rashid Rida. So mereka ada, they fight for this gerakan Islah. So gerakan Islah means reform, change, improve. Gerakan Islah ni menggesa atau dia menyeru umat Islam untuk kembali kepada ajaran Islam yang sebenar, berpandukan hadis dan Al-Quran, and basically untuk menentang penjajahan Barat. Mainly British lah. British memang the main enemy over here. So Syed Jamal al-Din al-Afghani lah. I know for sure he hates the British. Dia memang tak suka British, wants to chase them out. So he also decided that, how do I get everyone to join together? Sebab sebenarnya, right, you have in the Middle East, you have so many different types of people. So you got the Arabics, the Persians, and all, Kurdish. How do you combine them together? So they are Muslims. So gerakan pan-Islamisme. So pan-Islamisme ialah satu gerakan untuk menggesa umat Islam bersatu. Again, tujuan dia ialah untuk to chase out the British and the West lah, basically. Another incident would be pemerintah Turki Uthmaniyah lah, right? Sultan Mehmed V, right, in 1914 mengeluarkan fatwa untuk umat Islam bersatu untuk menentang kuasa barat. Alright, so that is what is written in the textbook. But actually what happened is the Turki Uthmaniyah lah, right, they were siding with Germany during World War I, and they basically, this fatwa was against the British, the French, and the Russians. So that's another instance of nasionalisme, right? You unite everyone together to fight. In fact, this also inspired Tok Janggut in Kelantan to fight against the British. That was in 1915. So there you go. Next up, Myanmar. Okay, so they have been known as Burma for a very long time. So some of the names, the political parties, the name will still be Burma lah. Jadi Burma ni dia kena attack pada tahun 1824. It's a very important year. If you forgot, please read back from 3. That's the year that changed history. Alright, so anyway, dia attack by 1824, dan Burma dia diletakkan bersama dengan India. So it's combined with India as one of the wilayah lah. And Burma ni dia sebenarnya ada banyak orang yang berlainan bangsa. So there's a lot of different races in Myanmar, and the question is, how do you unite them against the British? Bagaimana kita nak satukan semua orang ni untuk menentang penjajahan? And the answer is Buddhism, because even though we have all these different races, right, most of them are Buddhist. Very important role was played by the Pongi. Pongi is Sami Buddha, and the first issue that we learn about is issue kasut. Alright, shoe problem. It happened in 1902. There were officers wearing shoes in the pagoda grounds, which is considered very disrespectful. So isu ni dibangkitkan oleh seorang Pongi dari Ireland. Is an Irish Buddhist monk called Udamaloka. By the way, if you see the letter U in front of someone there, U is basically like Mr. or someone that you respect. So terusnya kita ada Persatuan Belia Buddha, ditubuhkan pada 1906. YMBA lah in English. You know YMCA, but this one is Buddhist Association, untuk mengekalkan tradisi Buddha. Alright, part of this is caused by this issue kasut, and eventually lah, right, this there were a lot of this penentangan dan sebagainya. In 1919, finally the British agreed that the Sami can decide on the dress code in temples. So this is a minor victory, but it shows that this is possible. Penentangan ni boleh berlaku. Sekarang ni kemerdekaan ni tak jauh. Alright. Dan seterusnya, some of the members of Persatuan Belia Buddha, they decide to tubuhkan parti politik yang lebih teguh lah, right? Majlis Persatuan Kesatuan Buddha untuk memperjuangkan hak rakyat Burma. So next up, kita juga ada pemberontakan oleh Sayasan, which is a bekas Pongi. He used to be a monk. Happened between 1930 1932. He was caught and executed lah. But the fires of independence is just there. So in 1935, something very important happened. Burma split from India. Alright, became an independent colony of its own. Alright, and after that we also have Penubuhan Dobama Asyayone, which is a political party in Myanmar. We talk about this because there were a lot of very influential people who kind of like started over there. Of course, one of them is Aung San. They popularized the use of the word takin. Takin actually means kind of like sir or lord, but usually you only say it to the British or to the Europeans. But now they are like, no, call us takin instead of you. As a Burmese, you should only call another Burmese sir. Right, kita bertuankan sendiri. It's a very strong political statement lah. Eventually, in 1937, they held an election, and Dr. Bamau was selected as the first Prime Minister. So this is where the textbook ends, but there's so much more going on after that lah. And because officially, Myanmar merdeka pada tahun 1948. So this is 1937. This is where it ends. A lot of things happen. There's the Japanese coming in after that, and then just before Merdeka, something terrible happened. Alright, I'll talk about this in class. That's it for now. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.